So thank you guys for coming with us. My name is Richard Hofer. I own NTD Vacations. And without my staff, this would not be possible. I want you guys to acknowledge, where did Paulette go? Paulette is a ninja that has helped all of us in this room. And I'd like to give us a round of applause for Paulette. Here's what's interesting. And Mary as well. Mary's over there. Mary's been helping you with your hotels and with your group excursions. And Alan over there is going to be helping with logistics as well on the ship. There's Alan. So
he's doing the pub crawl.
So this whole room is only a half of the group that's sailing with us. We're about 450 people, and there's about 220 people, 225, 230 in this room right now. So half are not even with us in this room. So we have quite a large room. List of people that are coming, and we're going to have to be eating dinner together. So just imagine this times 2 is going to be taking up the dining room on our sailing, and it'll be pretty crazy. So I'm going to go over a few things that I think are important that I think you guys should know. And I'm here to help you. We're all here to help you have an easy vacation. This is our 17th year doing a group cruise. And we all of us that I have that are working on my staff, we love to take care of people. It brings a smile to our face to make sure that we're taking care of you. And that's what is the benefit of booking with us, is that if you have a problem, your travel agents are with you and we can help take care of you while we're on board. That's a major thing that we can do to help you. So if you're frustrated with something and something's not working, please let us know so we can help you. We can also book you for more than just this group cruise, just so you know. You don't have to only utilize us just for the cruise. This just happens to be the one that we're going to be sailing with you on. We're sailing on the Allure of the Seas, which is an Oasis-class ship that is made by Royal Caribbean. It's the largest class ship, and the ship is 4 football fields long. It is a width of 8-lane freeway, 18 stories tall, holds 9,000 people. The ship is massive. It has stabilizers on the ship that keep the ship stable, so some people are concerned about being motion sickness. I've never seen somebody get motion sickness on an Oasis-class ship because they have stabilizers on the ship. There's a technical reason why that is. It has to do with the ship that has azipods, and it doesn't have a rudder system, and so it can steer the ship much more. It can control the ship and stability better than other ships. Yeah, I know some of you might have seen the last week or two where the 2 Carnival ships collided. That happens because those ships don't have isopods and a way to control the ship. And the stability of those ships are not the same as the stability of this ship. It has a lot to do with why I choose this boat to go on with hundreds of people. I'm responsible to make sure that they have a good vacation and they don't get sick. There is a hospital on board if you did get sick, but I've never seen anybody utilize it. The Allure of the Seas is, if you ever heard of the Oasis of the Seas, the Symphony of the Seas, or the Harmony of the Seas, the Allure of the Seas is in the same class ship. They're all technically exactly the same, with slight differences in their restaurants, their specialty restaurants, and a couple things that are different between each ship. The ships have fresh water in their pools. That's another thing. Their pools are open 24 hours and fresh water. Most cruise ships do not have that. They have saltwater pools and close at 10 o'clock. So you'll find a lot of people within our group going to hot tubs at 3 in the morning. What we like about the Oasis-class ships is that it gives space for our group. Multiple venues for entertainment at the same time. At the front of the ship, you have a theater that you have that holds a couple thousand people. It's an indoor, like the Rosemont Theater. And then you have a back outdoor theater called the Aqua Theater. And then you have a Studio B, which is like a mini indoor arena. Multiple dining options. On this ship, there's 20 different places to eat. 10 included for free, and 10 have a specialty fee. This upper corner, that's the size of the ship, and the little ship in front of it is a typical cruise ship. And it gives you something in relativity to all the size of the other ships. You all should have your passport. Some people feel that you don't need to have a passport because they say, well, if you're coming in out of America, back into America, you don't have to have a passport. Well, if you have a problem at shore, you need to get back into our country, you need a passport. Make sure you check your passport. Some people don't look at their passport. They go, well, I already have a passport. It might have expired. So make sure that you have a chance to check that and fix that. That's why I like doing the pre-cruise party a couple weeks before we sail, because if it's expired, you need to get that addressed. Hopefully you've booked your air. I know that air has been expensive on this sailing. The problem that we've had with air is that they've taken the 737 MAX plane out of commission, so there's less flights to utilize all the people, so the supply and demand is off, so therefore the prices are higher. And there's nothing we can really do about that because there's only so many flights going in and out of Florida. So hopefully you've taken care of your air right now. I know that it's more expensive than it has been in the past. Book your hotel. If you have any problems with hotels, Mary's the person you want to talk to. She can help you with that. I believe we're closed to the group rates, but she might be able to do something. You can check with Mary. She has direct contact with each one of the hotels that we have. Should be done before you leave Chicago. Print your luggage tags, pre-book your shows, and buy your drink packages. They're not sold out. If you've gone on and you've booked your events that have to do with, like, I want to go see Mamma Mia, I want to go see this show, the Aqua Theater. Those shows might not be available for you to book right now, but when you get on board, you still will be able to book those. They're not sold out. They're just sold out to a percentage of the people that book online. They keep back some so that the people that don't have internet access can book them when they get on board. Make sure you guys call your credit card companies to let them know you're traveling so they don't shut your credit card off. Let the banks and cell phone providers know. Very important tip on your cell phones. On everybody's cell phone, all of our phones have a data roaming on them. That when we get on the boat, they will be data roaming on the ship. Once we leave Florida, we will be in international waters. When we go through the Caribbean, they will be pinging all of the servers all through Mexico and the Caribbean. And if you don't turn your data roaming off, you'll get a $300 to $400 phone bill when you come home. Make sure you turn data roaming off. The safest way to do that is just turn the phone off and enjoy a vacation without being on your phone. Or you can go into airplane mode as well. But just be aware of that. What were you going to say, Jim?
Hey, Rich, the phone companies will also, if you call them, let them know that you're international and see if you have an international plan that's less as well. So I know Verizon does that. Just let them know that you're out of the country.
Yeah, I mean, if you let them know they're out of the country, you could do a momentary international plan. That's another option. I'm just letting you know because I learned the lesson the hard way on the first time that happened. I came back, and thankfully, AT&T waived my $300 bill. If you have gift certificates, you need to add them before you leave for the cruise. You cannot add them when you're on the cruise. Check your weather for potential delays on your flights. Make sure it doesn't look like we're going to have too bad of weather before we sail. But definitely take a look at that because the ship is going to sail without you. So my advice is if it's going to be bad weather, get on a flight early. So this is the cruise planner when you log on to the website. When you log on the website, it'll say before you sail, and you're going to say, I'm already booked, and you're going to go to online check, and you'll see this page right here. And on that, you're going to enter in your reservation number, the ship and sail date, and the name of the ship, your last name, and that will bring you into the next page, your online check-in. This is going to verify that everything's correct. That's your set sail. This is technically your ticket to get on board. Now, theoretically, the form that I send you when you book and after you've paid a final payment, I send you a booking form. That form will also act as a ticket, but this is the one that they'll ask you if you've done your set sail pass. By doing this here in Chicago, will just allow you to get on board the ship much faster. You'll be able to log right on, set sail, they'll give you your room keys, and you're on the ship. What's amazing is that something, if you haven't cruised before on Royal Caribbean, they typically will do this in about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. On other cruise lines, that sometimes can take a couple hours. That's a big, big, big difference. So I strongly advise you to do as much of this as you can in Chicago so that when you get on board, you're right on the ship very quickly. For the things that you want to do for show reservations once you're on board, if you go to the On-Air Club between 11 a.m. and 3:15, we'll have people in there that will book you for all the different shows. This is a luggage tag that you're going to print, and you should get these on your e-docs. This is kind of, I put this slide up because it's kind of an important one. The first thing is, people are like, oh, it's just a luggage tag. I'll put it on when I leave Chicago. Don't put this on in Chicago. It'll get ripped off, it'll get torn off your bag while in the airport, either at O'Hare or in Florida. You want to print that and keep that with you. I took a picture on the right with the red tape that is clear. What I do is I take that luggage tag, print them, bring them with me to Florida. When I'm in Florida in the hotel room, I take them up on the top right. You'll see that I fold it, put it on with that tape, and then secure it to the bag. By doing this, it'll guarantee your luggage won't get lost. When you check in at the pier in Florida, they're going to immediately take your bags. Before you go through security and before you go on the ship, they're going to take your bags. It's important that if you have medicine or a cell phone charge or anything personal, bring that on the bag with you that you're carrying on with you. The one that's checked, I'll give you another good advice. For my wife and I, we split our clothes. So half of my clothes are in one bag and half of my clothes are in her bag. She does the same. This way, if we lose one bag, we're both covered with clothes. You must board this ship by 3 o'clock. I know that on there it says that the ship leaves at 4:30. I wish they did not print that, because the reason why it's important to be there by 3 is they close the manifest. That means that if you are not in there, you could be there at 4 o'clock and they'll close the manifest. Ship's still there, but they won't let you on. They'll say we're closed because they close the manifest to give it to the Coast Guard.
Also, when you do your check-in online, it'll ask you what time you want to board, and they give you like an hour, hour and a half to board at a certain time. So you can pick your time when you're going to board.
Typically, the best time, I think the board is between 11:30 and 12:30. To me, that's the sweet hour. It'll also be pretty busy at that time, but that's the best time to do it. You typically would not get on a boat earlier than 10:30 because they have to clean the ship from the week prior and make sure everyone's off that ship. So, and we will not have access to our rooms until 1 p.m. So if you need access to your room, you won't be able to do that till 1. So just be prepared for that as well. Because if you get on at 11, you'll be like, I can't get to my room, and you got to carry around all this luggage that you carried on. And that's kind of a pain as well. This is the Crown and Anchor Society. I highly suggest signing up for this. As you sign up, you build accreditations and points, and those points can save you money. There's a few people that have gone on and saved $200 to $300 on top of the rate that they get from us to go on the ship. So it's worth signing up for. Plus, it comes with a bunch of free perks, and it costs nothing to do. And they really don't bother you. It's not a thing they're gonna email you every 5 minutes. So I think this is worth it. So this is the Royal Caribbean app. It's a newer app, so I'm not as versed on this one. It used to be the My Royal IQ. This one is a different app that they have. It's new. They're supposed to be able to allow you to do things on it. Track your luggage, stateroom notifications, book your shore excursions, book specialty dining. I believe there's a chat with friends feature on there if you're on the Wi-Fi for $7.95 fee. That used to be free on the other app, so I don't know if they're going to take it away or what they're doing with that. There's an interactive cruise compass. The interactive cruise compass is what you're going to get in your stateroom every single day that will tell you what's happening on board. You'll be able to, board the ship right after security, no check-in. You'll also be able to take your picture that you'll use for your ID. You can do that before you leave through the app. There's supposed to be geo-tracking on it. I don't know, they didn't tell me what ships have it yet, but the geo-tracking works that when you have the app in your phone and you're at the pool, you can order your drink and they'll triangulate where you are and bring you your drink right to where you're at without waiting for a waiter. Pretty cool. So a server doesn't have to come to you. You can literally just order your drink where you're at, and usually they're following Ryan everywhere around he go because Ryan has a drink tab over $2,000, but they just follow. He's got his own guy. This is a very, 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 very important thing. Make sure you stay on ship time. Ship time. Do not go on the local time. Your phone, when we get to one of the ports, will re-time itself to where we're at. If you don't stay on Florida time, ship time, you're not on ship time, that ship will leave without you. Guaranteed. Every single time I've gone on a cruise, people miss the ship. And I know why they're doing it, because they go on the island, their phone retimed itself somewhere else. Even on excursions, I've watched the people on excursions tell people, yeah, this excursion's 4 hours long. I'm like, well, the ship leaves in 3. And they're like, oh, it does? They don't know. There's thousands of people, hundreds of ships that come into these ports. They don't know what time we need to be back on board. So please make sure when you're on board, you make sure when you're on that island, turn off that it doesn't recalculate the time. Check what Florida time is. Make sure that phone is on that. I just don't want to see somebody miss the boat. And especially, you got to think, if you are on the island and you miss the boat, where is your credit card? Not with you. Where is your passport? Likely not with you. Where's your money? Likely not with you. So how are you going to get home? So I make a point of that, because I get really concerned about that, because if I didn't see it happening all the time, I wouldn't bring it up. But I see it happening. In fact, when we got off the Symphony last year, the week after we were on, there was a video that went all over the internet about people missing the boat while they were in one of the port, in the Symphony of the Seas. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Things to do right when you get on board the ship. Like I said, you cannot get to your room until 1 o'clock. You can book the shows at any of their specialty restaurants if you want, if you did not do that online. I would suggest to go get a roast beef sandwich in the Central Park Cafe. You can go to the Windjammer. The Windjammer is a restaurant that's on board, I believe, deck 15, I want to say. 14 or 15, I think it's 15. The Windjammer in the back of the ship is a restaurant that every single day offers everything for anybody. From salads, fruits, desserts, carved, grill, Asian, Italian, Mexican, anything you'd want is in that Windjammer Cafe. You likely would find something to appease your hunger in that room. What were you going to say, Jim?
Hey, Rich, I got one more for you. Johnny Rockets, here's something that nobody really knows, but Johnny Rockets does breakfast only free when you get on the ship. So any day you want to go and you don't want to go up and be with everybody, yes, Johnny Rockets is empty. Yeah,
my kids' favorite place to eat breakfast is Johnny Rockets. So you'll see my children there every morning. I think they also serve omelets there. Is that what it is? Is
they
omelets?
Do.
It's the only place on the ship that has omelets.
Well, you can get them in the Windjammer.
Or in the in the dining room.
Yep.
Right.
Johnny Rockets.
I knew there was something unique about that, and it's free. But Johnny Rockets used to be free for everything, but the kids are throwing out so many burgers and fries and shakes that they had to put a small charge on there because they were having so much waste. Because I asked them, I said, why do you add a couple dollars to this? It was free. And that's what they had told me. Dining, I had put everybody in, I think there's only very few of you that are not in our 5:30 dining or 5:15 dining with us. The reason why I put you in early dining with us is, one, so we can eat together, and secondly, so you can be a part of all the things that we're going to be doing through the week. If you're in late dining, you will likely miss some of the events, and you'll miss some of the shows that are available to be on vacation. You don't have to go to any of them, but you would miss a lot of that. And I'd like you to enjoy it so that you're getting most bang for your buck. I gave you in the booklet I handed out to you, and if you didn't get this whole booklet, I'll be putting that online for you to download as well. On this list, I list something that shows you complimentary food, and then food that's added with a charge, and then all the bars. This is a real quick way to know where you can go eat for free and that doesn't cost you anything, and which ones have a little bit of a charge. It's a good map to kind of know, because they don't always show that easily through the ship. They have digital signage on the ship, which I didn't cover on here. Pretty cool that if you look at the digital signage on the ship and you're hungry, you can say, I'm here, take me to food. It'll list you all the restaurants, and it'll tell you by body temperature and body heat and mass in the room, whether that room is populated or whether you'll be in to get in and out quick. Kind of cool. You won't wait in a lot of lines on this ship, with the exception of the first day in the Windjammer when we first get on board, because all of those restaurants are not open yet. So everybody's converging to the Windjammer. So it's going to be a little busy on the first day at lunch. It's going to be a little hectic, but after that, it'll smooth itself out. There's drink packages that are available. I just am not the right person to ask. If you want to ask Ryan or ask anybody in our group, Mary, Paulette, and Alan would probably know more than I would what the deals are, whether it's a good special, whether it's good to get now, whether to get online. I'm sure some of you already have gotten it. Drinking water about Florida, I always bring this up. The mineral content in Florida is a little bit higher than it is in Chicago. So if you have kidney stones in your lineage, don't drink iced tea water from Florida with ice cream. They form kidney stones. So just make sure you don't, I'll say it one more time. Don't drink the Florida water in iced tea with ice cream. They will cause crystallization and cause kidney stones. My father lost a kidney on that and that's how I learned about it. I've just let it, the Florida water has a higher mineral content. You can drink the Florida water, it's fine, just be aware of it. You can bring 12 bottles of water and 2 bottles of wine with you on board. I think Ryan's going to be bringing all of that. I have a couple cases. Smoking, there's designated areas on the ship to smoke. Please do not smoke outside those designated areas. They have sensors on there, and if you break those rules, there's 2 jails on the ship, and they will put you in the jail. Just sharing the knowledge. Gratuities and tipping, there's gratuities. This is an interesting thing. I bring this up because some of you have prepaid your gratuities, some have not. I kind of don't like the prepaid gratuities because I feel like you're predetermining your service. And I like to know that if you're going to tip somebody, it's relative to the service that you've been given. I think it's a fair assessment that if you're taken care of well, you take care of them well. And if you're not taken care of, then don't tip them. I think that sets a precedent for bad service when you're prepaying your gratuities. That's my 2 cents. The problem is, another thing about that is that there's bloggers that say that the workers around these boats, which most of them have been away from their families for 6 months and from other countries, and they have not seen their family in 6 months. A lot of them rely on every penny that you guys give them in tips. And the problem is by prepaying it, I don't know for sure, but some people say that the workers are not seeing all of that money, which is concerning to me because that's not fair. So just be aware of that. If you prepaid them, don't be afraid to make an adjustment throughout or give them an extra bonus if you felt they went the extra way. I think it'd be better to tip them as you go. They charge 18% on their drinks in spa. There's a Wi-Fi available on board the ship. You can buy a Wi-Fi package. There's activities that are going to be going throughout the whole week. You have the Flow Rider, which is a surf machine. The Samsung Galaxy Note 7 cell phone is not allowed on this ship. So if you have that cell phone, don't bring it. It's not allowed on planes either. So I would just get rid of that cell phone. There's online waivers if you want to sign them for the zip line, Flow Rider, rock climbing wall. You can do them before you sail. Stores and shops and on the islands are tax duty free. The solarium is in the front of the ship and it's an adult only area. The Solarium Bistro for breakfast and lunch has healthy meals, 500 calories or less, and at night it turns into the Samba Grill, which is a grill that is a Brazilian steakhouse. I think this is the last ship that still has that concept. Pretty cool, different experience you're eating out in the solarium. Pretty cool restaurant to check out if you haven't done that. So is the Hibachi Grill, which is on my trajectory this year. I have a list of the band activities. This is kind of your go-to for a few reasons. The first top row is telling you all the events that are for us, that we planned for our group. The middle row is what activities are happening on the ship that our group over the years have said that they've enjoyed going to and they want to continue to go to. Karaoke, Battle of the Sexes, Love and Marriage Show, The Quest. Those are going to be in the middle row. And then the bottom row are the shows that you would actually book. Those are the shows that Mamma Mia, I want to see it on this day, this time. Those things are going to be in the bottom. I'm missing the headliner show on Wednesday and Thursday. I do not know who a headliner is. We sometimes are hired as headliners. Sometimes we are not. This sailing we are not, but we are playing through the ship. But we're technically not the headliner. I have no idea who the headliner is. so I don't have it listed on here. Take one of the comedy nights and go see comedy live. If you want to go do that, that's a stand-up comedy. It's free, it's included. You just sign up for that. And so this list is kind of important. In red, you'll see that we have a help desk every single day. We have an area on the ship with my staff, and one of us will be there for about a half hour, that if you have any questions, you can come find us. I have a problem, I need help. Every single day, I have somebody from myself or my staff that's gonna be in one of those locations, and they're specified in that little red line right there. So utilize that if you need it. And plus, you'll see us at dinner anyways. Most of us, except for if we go to a specialty restaurant. Your onboard credits will expire at 10 p.m. the night before we get off. So make sure you utilize your onboard credits for something. I'll tell you a real quick funny story. When I was, the night before we sailed, when I was maybe 10 years old, Della Reese was on the cruise with us, and I cheered Della Reese on while she was in the casino with her dimes, and she kept winning and winning, and I didn't know who she was. I didn't know she was a famous actor. I was just cheering this lady on. And so she ends up winning and winning and winning, and she's like, "You're such a nice little boy." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." She goes, "Here's a cup of dimes." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." So I put it in at 10. I started re-rolling it, and I keep winning and winning and winning and winning the whole week. And I kept bringing money back to the room. And I kept hiding it like behind the window. So we're packing, and my father goes, he says, "We got everything?" I said, "Make sure you don't forget my money." And my mom and dad are like, "What money?" I go, "We got money over there. A couple $100. So they're like, "We're not gonna carry all these dimes off the ship." So they took me over to the gift shop on there. I bought a boom box, and that boom box was the boom box I wrote all the Seventh Heaven songs on for like the first 10 years of the band. So small little funny story. So this is Jim and Becky. Becky Obers, there's Jim right there. Becky was right here. She's somewhere. They're a husband and wife professional photographers. They're known in our ecosystem for shooting a lot of the live bands in our shows that we play at. They're excellent photographers and very friendly and very personable. Throughout the week, the one thing that as of the years of me going on cruises is they would take our picture of something, and if you didn't decide to buy that photo right there for like $20 and you got off the boat, you never could get that photo again. And I always thought that was like, it was a conundrum, because you wanted to have something to remember the trip by, but if you didn't remember to go to the photo area before it closed, then you didn't have anything to remember the cruise by. So I decided to hire them to come on board with us and shoot us all through the week, not only at our events, but on the islands, at our shows, at dinner, our formal nights, everything that we do. Jim and Becky will be there, and then at the end of the cruise, Jim will be putting them all online for you to view. And if you want to get specialty prints, you can get that. And they print a bounded book of our trip. There's a bounded book that's associated with the performances, and there's a bounded book that's associated with our activities. And we have two bounded books that you can get from Jim, and they handle everything. They do a great job, and they're taking thousands of photos of us. You have no idea how much they have to document our vacation. And I think that's an important aspect of a vacation, is to remember it. So go ahead.
Yep. Hey, thanks, Rich. So the difference between us and the cruise package for photos is they make you buy a package for a really lot of money, and then you only get to choose so many photos. This slideshow is not the full 2 years. 2017, we just picked the 2 days, Maho Beach and San Juan, Puerto Rico, because we're hitting both of those locations this year. And then last year, just 1 day, and there's 6,000 photos streaming right here. So that just shows you what we do throughout the whole week. We're from day to night taking photos of you guys. Whenever you see us, please just stop us, take a photo. If you want us to do a certain photo shoot with you guys on the ship, just let us know. We'll take you to a nice area. The back of the ship is great because it has the nice ocean in the background. It's just a great view. And if you guys want to like buy one photo, perfect. We'll do one photo. We'll charge that to you just as a print photo just once. If you want to do a whole package, like we get 4x6 packages, I think we did a couple last year that were 60 to 80 photos, perfect. We quote that individually. So we don't have a set price. It's exactly what print costs are. So it's a lot cheaper than what you would get on the ship, and you get better quality and more photos. So thanks for having us. We really appreciate it. We love going on the cruise. We'll be there all week.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So we have excursions. We have group excursions. Mary is in charge of that. I know some of them have sold out, and there might be still some available on some things. If there's any of you that want to do an excursion, you want to do it as a group, please see Mary, and Mary can see if she can help you get a better rate by going as a group. We've already set a few of them. That's Mary right back there. Is there anything you want to add to that, Mary? I didn't know anything you want to add on our group excursions?
We might have some openings on the Maho airplane experience. But let me know if you want anything. I can ask, and it doesn't hurt to ask. So we have 3.
One of the coolest things about this trip, and I think that one of the best things that Royal Caribbean has done in the last few years, is they bought these islands and created them as exclusive islands. This particular island that we're going to, called Coco Key, as all it says, most people say it's Coco Cay. They inform me it's Coco Key. This island is right off of the Bahamas, and it's private. It's only for the people on our group. And if there's another ship, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mariner of the Seas is in at the same time. And that's all that's going to be on this island. And let's go through a couple slides, Ryan. That is a gigantic, the tallest water slide in there. This is all the largest freshwater pool in the Caribbean. That's an area for kids. That is a swim-up bar, another part of that big pool. That is a zip line and a hot air balloon that rises up that you could ride up in the sky. Those are private cabanas that go overlook with a little private water slides on them as well off of each one. So each one of that's a wave pool. There's a bunch of really cool stuff on there. Lazy River. This, to me, was a big selling point of going on this cruise because we've never experienced this island before. I believe that they put $250 million into this island, and that's a significant amount of money to put into an island. But not everything on there is free. Most of it is. I know that the cabanas have a charge. There's restaurants on there where some of the restaurants are free. There's a charge restaurant as well. So you could go on this island and spend no money and have a great time, or you can pay for upgrades on things. Mary and Paulette will be your best answers to tell you what things have fees and what do not. Need for shuttle that are going from the airport to the hotel to the pier. Let us know. Paulette and Mary and Alan can help you with that. Typically, all hotels do not technically give you a free shuttle to the pier. They all offer it as a third-party service. Typically, I believe is it $6 to $8 or $9 a person? To $8. So it's $8 a person to go on, to go from the hotel to the pier if you're in Fort Lauderdale area. So just be aware of that. It's common. You can set that up with the concierge. Do allocate time. You're going to need about maybe 20, 30 minutes from the time you leave the hotel to get through to the pier to get on to the board. Yes, Jim?
Okay, so if you're booked in a group hotel and did not receive an email in regards to shuttle service, send me an email at mary@nczvacations.com so I can send you the links and information for shuttle service from the airport to the hotel and the hotel to the port. And we also have shuttle service from the port to the airport the day of departure. So Marriott Vacations for shuttle service information.
Thank you.
So I'm letting you know about our next cruise. The reason why I always let you know about the next cruise is because when we're on board the ship, if you decide you want to go again, there'll be incentives for you to sign up for the next cruise. It's kind of confusing on the verbiage of that, so definitely talk with one of us if you're confused about that, because they'll say it's up to $600 discount. Problem is that $600 is for a 10-day on and with a suite. Typically, for our sailing for a 7-day Caribbean, it's going to be $50 to $150, actually up to $300. Depending on whether you're going in an interior, a suite, a balcony. Those all have different rates to sign up. What we would do is book you in prevailing rate, and the prevailing rate they offer on there is a discounted deposit, and then we re-roll you in our group rates. It's a little complex. I tried explaining it last year on the pre-cruise, understanding the differences between group rates and prevailing rates. I didn't want to get too far into it here, but generally a group rate room is a raw cost room, and a prevailing rate room is what is going through a sale and a discount with onboard credits. So it's a little bit confusing at times, but trust us that we'll walk you through that. If any of you want to go on the cruise in the future and you have 3 to 4 people in the room or more, please deposit that sooner than later, because then you allow us to help you. Because if you're 3 or 4 people in the room, you will not be in group rate. Group rate is only for 2 people in a room. I am not in a group rate room. I'm in a prevailing rate room with my kids. And the earlier I can put it in there, between the time you book and the time we have to put final deposit down, I'm able to re-roll you and lower your rates. On the last cruise, we had a couple that's booked a big grand suite for $10,000 in the summer. And after Labor Day, there was a sale that came through for that same room, and I re-rolled them and saved them $5,000 and dropped the room at $5,000. That's something that most travel agents in places will not do for you. They will not re-roll you, and we check this every single day. So that's something that we can help you with on there. I also chose this sailing in particular because I chose this one because this one is going back to Coco Cay, which I think is a great place to go. I chose it because we are not going to St. Thomas. We originally were supposed to go to St. Thomas. We're going to San Juan. They replaced San Juan with St. Thomas. One of the azapods that are on this boat is not running at full capacity, and so because of that, they don't want to go all the way out to St. Thomas. I think they should still do it, but I'm not the boss. But so I decided to, so we won't miss it, to put it back on, so we would go to it next year. And we've never been to St. Kitts before, so that was a new port for us. And I thought that would be something pretty cool to go. Next slide. And this one, because that one's traveling outside of Orlando, Port Canaveral, that allows me to offer Disney, Star Wars, Toy Story packages. Next one, Universal and Harry Potter. So I'll be able to get us group rates at those hotels and at the parks by doing that together and that sailing. So, and I moved it up a little bit earlier in January. So, and if you're gonna book on the next cruise on board, make sure you get those documents to us. Make sure if you're gonna do something, let us know that. There's been many times we've gone on these big group cruises and somebody's like, I'm totally going next year, and they book, but they don't give it to one of us, and we don't know that it went through, and sometimes they don't process it. You have to realize I'm gonna hand them hundreds of people all at once, and they're gonna have to process it. If we don't know that you've booked, then it's hard for me to help you. It's something I didn't get booked, and I don't want you to fall through the cracks on that. So make sure you get it to myself, Alan, Mary, or Paulette.
If the tips were actually prepaid, can you get those back and roll them in as like they deserve them?
That's a great question. Probably not at this point that you can't get them back, because they've finalized. When you after we close a ship 90 days to sailing, they kind of finalize everything. That's why I'm really and if you ever notice that, if you've ever been on our group cruises, I always try telling you to pay this cruise off a week or two before that, because like their algorithm that they have, they're doing over 100,000 people in 1 week, they're booking, and it's done by computers, and it's not easy to fix some of that. So that's a question that Paulette can ask, but I don't think they can do that. To reverse their gratuity prepaid, I don't think you could do that. At this point, we can't. So it's just something to know moving forward. When I sent out the welcome email, I brought up that in there, and I brought it up that we don't recommend you prepay the gratuities, and that's the reason why. It's okay if you did. There's no harm, no foul. But I'm explaining it a little bit deeper why I think paying the gratuities based on service is a better way to go about it.
Rich, we have a statement from your mom.
My mother. This is my mother. Give my mother a round of applause.
Just want to remind everyone, if they smoke, you can't smoke in the room or on the balcony.
Yes. I brought that up about smoking, that there are sensors in the rooms and on the balconies that will know if you're smoking on the balcony. I'm just letting you know. Some people are like, I'm going to go on my balcony, they'll never know that I'm smoking. The reason why you can't smoke on the balcony and why there's sensors on there that will tell them, and trust me, they will know if you're smoking on the balcony. I'm warning you that but I can't make you do anything. But the reason why is because if you're smoking on the balcony, you flick this cigarette off. Remember, this ship is 4 football fields long, 4. And when you flick that off, it could come back on into another balcony, and on that balcony has a towel or a swimsuit, and you've caught that ship on fire. And that's why they don't want it, and they don't mess around with it. I'm telling you, trust me.
How do you set your phone to Florida or something?
So how you set your phone to Florida time is that on the phone, you set it to, you say the local time of Florida. You look on the internet, it'll say this is the local time of Florida. Make sure your phone is set to that, and then turn off that it automatically sets the date and time. All phones have the ability to turn off the ability to not be automatically setting to the date and time. And that's what you want to do with the phone.
All right, I've
What's
got a
up?
question.
Or get a wristwatch. Yeah, is Swatch still in business? They should sell a Swatch little like cruise watch there. Dino, go ahead.
We have a question from Bill.
What about dress up night?
Do you see, Bill, how I'm dressed up right now? This is formal night for me. I'm formal.
Okay.
So formal night, there's going to be 2 formal nights on the ship. Typically, those are going to be typically day 2 and day 5. And most people will be dressed in tuxedos and dresses. You don't have to do that. There's no law that says you have to do that. You're on vacation and feel free to do what you want. I will tell you that they will shine down on you wearing shorts and sandals in the dining room on the formal nights, but you can wear whatever you want. You also can go to other restaurants and not go on the restaurants if you want on the formal nights. But there are 2 formal nights on a typical 7-day trip. Usually there are day 2 and day 5.
Thank you.
Yep. Jim.
Hey, Rich, I just want to point out, too, for formal nights, if you guys dress up, we will take formal photos. And if you look at our display that we have over here, we've got Doug and his wife that we printed up from, I think, last year, maybe the year before. But we printed one of those photos from formal nights. You can see what kind of print work we do. But, yeah, dress up. We'll take your formal night photo, and it's a great memory for you.
Has this ship been renovated? Has this ship been renovated?
This ship has not been renovated. This ship is going to dry dock in about 2 months after that we're on it. The Allure of the Seas is getting what's called they're revamping the whole ship. And they're going to turn the Allure into the Symphony of the Seas about May of 2020. So this ship that we're on will not be renovated. The only differences are going to be is the decor will be similar to the Oasis of the Seas, and the Oasis just got revamped, so that one just got done. Now the Allure is happening this year, and the only other differences between this ship and the Symphony is we do not have the Abyss the Abyss dry slide. We do not have the 3 water slides that are up on deck 15. There's no Playmakers because it's Sabor, which is a Mexican restaurant in the boardwalk. There is no mechanical serving bar, bionic bar. That is the champagne bar. And I think other than that, it's all the same. There's things that this ship does have, but that having the Brazilian steakhouse, which I think is that's a great experience. I think that's one of the pluses to that. So, but the ship is it's 10 years old, so it's not that you won't walk on and feel like you're on an old boat.
Okay, are there times or items which will require cash? Like before getting on the ship?
So I would have cash on hand when you give your bags to the the valet at the pier to get on board. The porter is going to grab your bag and take it into your room. I would give him like $1 per bag tip. You give him 5 bags and $5 or more if you want. That's the first place that you would tip. On board, you would not need cash unless you tip. Tips, but and room service. You could do it on room service. The casino, if you want, you can also use your SeaPass card on the islands. But See, on Coco Key, you wouldn't use that. On St. Martin, yeah, you might St. Martin and San Juan would be the only other places. And then when you get back home, to get the taxi to get back to the airport. Now, one other cool thing that I'm 90% sure, and I'm always reluctant to bring this up, but I believe the Allure has the express service where you can put your bags outside your room the last night, and you don't see those bags until you're back in Chicago at O'Hare. That's an awesome service. Sometimes they have that, sometimes they don't. On the Symphony, when we were on there, they did not have that up and running then. I'm pretty sure the Allure has that up and running, so I think they're okay. They do? What is that? They do. Mary said they do. So Mary must have found out, because I wasn't 100%. It goes back and forth. It has to do with logistics between the ship and the airport to be able to handle all that baggage. But it's definitely awesome to do that. And be prepared when you're packing to, if you plan on buying something to come back home with, that you've allocated some space for that in your luggage. Because you will be in a conundrum when you're like, I bought all these great things. I'm like, where am I going to put them? And one other thing, I made the mistake one time in Jamaica buying Jamaican jerk sauce. And when I bought the sauce, they confiscated it at the airport, even though it was sealed, and they threw it right out. So just be aware of that. If you're going to do something like that, ship it home. Yep.
Oh, with regard to health insurance, is that something we talked to Paulette or Mary
Yeah,
about?
Paulette will help you with health insurance. See, the health insurance, I personally am not a huge fan of the way that Royal Caribbean handles their health insurance. When we were on the Harmony a couple of years ago and there was the shooting at Fort Lauderdale Airport, we were the ship that was coming in and sailing on that. One of the people that was with our group was coming out of Boston, Massachusetts, and she was maybe in her 80s, and she was a little older lady, so she could not easily move around electronically to get on another flight. They closed down the airport from Boston to Fort Lauderdale, and she was the only passenger I could not get on ship because I had no way to reach her. I had no way to call her and reach her. She was stuck in Boston at the airport. She had full insurance. She missed our boat. She had full insurance, got back, and I had to fight with Royal Caribbean to get her refund back. And because of that, that really pissed me off. Because I'm like, if you're going to sell insurance and people are going to pay for that, what liability what did she do wrong that wouldn't cover that insurance? So that really bothered me about that. And I raised a stink about it. And I got her an onboard credit back for where she could, not onboard credit, but money to use for another sailing, and got her money back. But I was not very happy about that. I said, you should technically fully refund that money because that's not the fault of the passenger. And the cruise lines, it's not the fault of us. I go, I understand that, but you're $1 billion publicly traded company. You can lose $1,000, So that's just how I feel about it.
Devo has an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, Devo.
All right, just real quick. So I am an ordained wedding officiant, and I've been approached by several couples that want to renew their wedding vows on the cruise. I think we have a 35-year wedding anniversary. We're the Burks. That's them. So, absolutely, give them a hand. So, as much as I love you all and want to celebrate your accomplishment, I will not be doing 6 different wedding renewal vows. So we're going to do this all on one day. And I think I want to do it on day 2 at sea. That's the Tuesday. And it's going to be on deck 14, which is the sun deck. And there's signs that'll tell you which way to get there. I'm going to post all this on the Facebook page so people know where to go and what time and what day and what to do. If you are just getting married and you're not already married, I cannot help you with that because that involves licensing and we're in international waters. I don't know how that works.
With that said, if you have a birthday, if you have an anniversary, if you have a thing that you want us to announce or talk about during the cruise on the stages from the bands, just send us a note at info@ntdvacations.com. Let us know what that special event is, and we'll make sure that we thank you for being on the ship with us.
The walls in your cabin, your stateroom, are magnetic. A lot of people don't know that. So you can get magnetic clips to hang up your like calendars for the day, or if you have wet swimsuits, we do that. That's a little tip. Bring clips to clip your beach towel to your chairs out on deck because it gets windy out there. So that's something fun to bring. And there's a lot of YouTube channels with cruise tips that you can check out too. All right, that's it.
Hello.
Hello.
So for the excursions, do we have to pay them before or after?
Oh, that's a question for Mary. I couldn't tell you. Mary will connect with you and.
The group excursions are prepaid. So if you send me an email and you want to be included in one of the group excursions, I will confirm that we have space available, and then I will send you an email asking you for your credit card information. You could either email it to me or call me with the information, and then I will call our groups department at Royal Caribbean and pay for it on your behalf. If you're doing excursions other than the group excursions, you can book them through your cruise planner directly.
Hi. If you book through Royal Caribbean excursions, they can't leave you, right?
Excursion?
If you book an excursion that's sanctioned by them, they can't leave you. But if you go into town and just do something on your own, you're on your own, right?
Yeah, you could do that, but I highly recommend that any excursion you do through the ship. And here's why. The ship will then know that you're where you are on the board, and they will make sure that they will not leave without you. If you do an excursion away from it, you absolutely will save money, and you extremely risky. And I always tell the story about the time when Uncle Tony and I, thank God Uncle Tony got back, but we went on an excursion in Cozumel, and the AT&V guy goes, yeah, we're going to be back. I go, what time are we back from this excursion? He's like, 5. I'm like, well, our ship leaves at 4. So how, like, you're going to bring us back at 5 o'clock? And he's like, and they start talking to each other like, oh, we'll just make an adjustment. Well, if I didn't say anything, we would have missed our ship. And the ship would not know that where we were because there's no communication. So while you'll pay a little bit more money, for me, I'm conservative. I'm going to go and pay extra money and know that the ship knows where I'm at. That's just my 2 cents. If you know the island really well and you have a friend, you got a hookup, then do what you want. And you could trust them, and they know that what time you need to be back. So critical. Like, it happens all the time. It's surprising. So if you are on excursion directly to the ship, you're fine. That's what I would suggest. Yes, Jim?
Right, I have a question from Rich over here.
Yeah, my
If you're
man.
driving down, do they have parking facilities on the dock? The answer to that is yes, there are parking facilities. I think right now, if you book, they're on sale for like $5 or $6 a night, which is the cheapest.
Question over here.
Do you need to have your credit card linked to your CPass?
Yes.
Or can you do that on the ship, or you have to do it now?
They actually are going to want you to do that before you board the ship. And one of the things on the set sail is that they verify that your credit card is associated with this ID, and everything you do is your CPass card. You're not going to use a Visa at they can't accept that. So you have to adhere. You can do a line of credit with it, like where you give them a debit or cash, and they'll give you a line of credit at the guest services. But beware that the guest services on day 1 and day 6 are a nightmare. They're really crowded. So do that before. It'd be better to do some of that before you sail. I highly would advise it, because you'll see what I'm talking about the night before we're ready to get off. About maybe 7 p.m., 8 p.m., the guest services is a zoo. There's like a whole bunch of people who are going on that through the week they might say, hey, I think I got charged for something I shouldn't, or what do I do with this onboard credit? What do I do with all this? So just be aware of that.
In addition to that, on your television, you'll be able to see all of your invoicing and all your charges and billing and everything. So once
check it throughout the week.
Just check it throughout the week, so you're not. You can do things along the week instead of trying to figure out what happened at the end of the week, and it works a lot easier. Is JPM doing another photo scavenger hunt? The answer is yes, we are. We go on the ship first day before you guys all get there. We're usually on at 11 o'clock and since we can't get to our room, we walk around the ship and we find 12 or 16 things along the ship we take photos of, and then we print them out, and you can do that through the whole week.
We also will be having a scavenger hunt through the week on one of the days. And that scavenger hunt is going to be on day 6 in Dazzles. We give away an Apple iPad and a couple other cool things with it. It's a fun activity that's 1 hour. It's exclusive for our group only. Not everybody partakes in it, but you're welcome to as well. So there's a few activities that we're going to be doing through the week. Dazzlin Dawn's going to be doing a bunch of dance lessons and things going on.
Okay, this is Dawn from Dazzlin Dawn. She's going to be in Dazzles.
I love it.
That's a great place to book her.
I mean, like, how fitting.
She's going to let us know when she's there teaching line dancing.
Okay, it looks like I'm going to be there day 2 when we're at sea. I'm going to be in Dazzles, which I found out today that Dazzlin Dawn is in Dazzles. How cool is that? And then day 3, also in Dazzles. Day 4 will be in Studio B, right, Rich? Studio B. And then day 5 before Hillbilly Rockstarz goes on at 10 to 10:30. So.
Perfect, thank you.
Awesome.
Tony would like to know who Dazzlin Dawn is. She is our onboard line dancing coach for this cruise.
We're all going to meet with each other when we get on board. We'll all be together in the solarium when we first board. When you get on board, a couple things you want to know is we're going to be in the solarium. We have to do this lifeboat drill. It's a mandatory lifeboat drill. I like that they don't make us go back to put the life vests on. We just have to physically show up to our muster station. It's important to know where you need to go if there's a problem. If you have children, they will wristband the children, and they will bring them to the proper muster station. That's a mandatory drill, but we're going to be doing that. That'll happen right about 4 o'clock, and then we'll go to the welcome board party, and then we'll go to the dinner. Go ahead.
Tammy's got a question. If you have the wristband that gets you in the room and those kind of things?
That's a great question. I'm not 100% sure if the wristband option is available like it was on Harmony and Symphony. I think it is, but I usually I know they're migrating their ships over. What I don't know is if they've migrated. Yeah, I know, but I don't know if they've migrated the Allure yet. I don't know if that's a thing that's going to happen in dry dock or they've already done it. So I don't know where they're at on that migration process. If they've done it already, then it is available. You'll know when you're at guests, when you're giving your set sail pass to the person when they're giving you the key. At that moment, ask them if that's an option, and if that is, they'll do it right then and there. So typically they do that. The way they migrate the ship is they start at the suites and they work their way down in their migration. Because it's not only just adding this wristband, they have to change the whole key structure of the door. So that's why it takes time. Because you understand there's 9,000 people on this boat. You know, there's thousands of rooms. It takes time to do that. And it's easy to make that decision on a brand new ship, because they can just order that. On a ship that's already been going, they have to migrate that. So I don't know where they are with that process. I'll see if I can find out before we sail, and look for an email from me. If you guys are not getting an email from me, definitely check your spam folder or email me to let me know you're not getting an email, because we are sending out updates, and I'm putting those updates on the website under the updates section on our website.
Do you have to sign up for the Chicago Music Crew events that are in the yellow?
No. If you do not have to sign up for these events in the top row. I'm letting you know where they're happening. You got to realize that the people that are not in our group are unaware that these are happening. I did request to the cruise director that a couple of them, the public performances of the band in the big spaces, I did ask them, please allow other passengers to see it, because I want to play to the whole entire ship. So sometimes we'll be there. So I think what will end up happening is when we play the Aqua Theater, that will have probably the most amount of people in it that are also not in our group, because you guys will tell people how you came on board the ship, and hopefully you guys tell them about Hillbilly Rockstarz, Seventh Heaven, Dazzlin Dawn, and you tell us about what we're doing through the week, and then we bring them on to do that. And we've been picking up every year that we've done this. We keep picking up more and more people. That's why half this room is not full with people. About of the half, 25% of it couldn't make it tonight. Another 25% don't live in Chicago. They actually picked up coming on a board from seeing us on all these other ships. And so it is become like a big, huge party, and I really enjoy doing it. But these things you don't need to, the people outside of our group won't be aware of all of them.
I want to point, I don't know if you guys know this or not. This year, 2020, is Seventh Heaven's 35th year as a band in the Chicago market. It's also Danny and Chris's 35th wedding anniversary. And if my wife would stand up, it's our 35th anniversary as well. So this cruise is going to be a great cruise for all of us. So thank you.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
Oh, yeah, we should have Big Sammy burgers on board. Big Sammy's going to be at the hot dog stand cooking. If you guys haven't had Big Sammy's, you got to go to Big Sammy's. His burgers and hot dogs are amazing.
Hey, Rich.
So
how many people in the room, how many of you guys are first-time cruisers with us this year? Raise your hand if you don't mind. Fantastic. That is great. Thanks for showing up this year, and for everyone else, thank you for being here again.
And thank you to everyone over, Joyce and Jen, you guys helping out at the front with getting people brought in. Thank you for all of you for coming with us and trusting us for having a good time with us. And if you have any other questions, we're going to stick around. We still have the room for about another half hour, so we'll be here. Thank you, guys.